Neville Goddard, Prayer, Chapter 2, Dual Nature of Consciousness. A clear concept of the dual nature of man's consciousness must be the basis of all true prayer. Consciousness includes a subconscious as well as a conscious part. The infinitely greater part of consciousness lies below the sphere of objective consciousness. The subconscious is the most important part of consciousness. It is the cause of voluntary action. The subconscious is what a man is. The conscious is what a man knows. The subconscious is what a man is. The conscious is what a man knows. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. Very fascinating. I am all that is God right here. These are our self-concepts. What I am, what I want to be, what you are, what you want to be. This is the self-concept of myself right now, but I desire to be that. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. The conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. Let's go with this. Let's play with these symbols. The conscious and subconscious are one within each of us, but the conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. The conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. These are the effects of my self-concept. These are the outside. This is my subconscious on the inside as you're falling asleep and you're making the impression. Your conscious self makes the impression to your subconscious self. The father and the mother, the outer and the inner, positive and the negative, the masculine and the feminine. They are one. My conscious and subconscious are one, but my subconscious is greater than my conscious. My Father and I are one, but my Father is greater than I. I is the subconscious. In our example, you are the conscious in this self-concept. This is the subconscious, you are the conscious. The conscious and subconscious are one, but the subconscious is greater than the conscious. Same thing. My Father and I are one, but my Father is greater than I. Okay? I of myself can do nothing. The Father within me, He doeth the work. I, objective consciousness of myself, can do nothing. The Father, the subconscious, He doeth the work. The subconscious is that in which everything is known, in which everything is possible, to which everything goes, from which everything comes, which belongs to all, to which all have access. What we are conscious of is constructed out of what we are not conscious of. Not only do our subconscious assumptions influence our behavior, but they also fashion the pattern of our objective existence. They alone have the power to say, let us make man, objective manifestations, in our image, after our likeness. The whole of creation is asleep within the deep of man and is awakened to objective existence by his subconscious assumptions. Within that blankness we call sleep, there is a consciousness in unsleeping vigilance. And while the body sleeps, this unsleeping being releases from the treasure house of eternity the subconscious assumptions of man. Prayer is the key which unlocks the infinite storehouse. Prove me now herewith, saith the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. Prayer modifies or completely changes our subconscious assumptions, and a change of assumption is a change of expression. The conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, experience, and education. It therefore finds it difficult to believe what the five senses and induction reason deny. The subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. Let's go back. It gets very deep in the soup right here. The conscious mind reasons inductively from observation, experience, and education. It therefore finds it difficult to believe what the five senses and inductive reason deny. The subconscious reasons deductively and is never concerned with the truth or falsity of the premise, but proceeds on the assumption of the correctness of the premise and objectifies results which are consistent with the premise. The subconscious is not going to judge whatever you are throwing at it. Whatever you impress upon the subconscious, it's going to take it and go with it. It's going to objectify that. It's going to make that your reality. You've been so good at it for so long with such a silence. You've never heard actual feedback, but you're doing it so consistently, so daily, so unconsciously. But what we're doing here is we're making a conscious awareness to this art. You are a living artist. The art that you are is consistently objectified by your subconscious self, the one that is greater than your conscious self. You are the artist. We're trying to bring to awareness how you, the artist, have been playing your art. And if you don't like your painting, you have the power to change it. It's very, very simple. We are awakening that. This distinction must be clearly seen by all who would master the art of praying. Love the word art in there, right? No true grasp of the science of prayer can be really obtained until the laws governing the dual nature of consciousness are understood and the importance of the subconscious realized. Prayer, the art of believing what is denied by the senses, deals almost entirely with the subconscious. Through prayer, the subconscious is suggested into acceptance of the wish fulfilled, and reasoning deductively, logically unfolds it to its legitimate end. Far greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. Far greater is He that is in you, that's your subconscious, than he that is in the world. Here's the world. Everything out here. Far greater is He that is in you than he that is in the world. This is the Creator within you. It's hard not to jump up and celebrate and light off a million fireworks to that one statement. He that is in you is far greater than he that is in the world. When you run to your teachers out here, you're forgetting the wisdom that is in here. And especially right there. That is where wisdom comes from. Within, not without. The subjective mind is the diffused consciousness that animates the world. It is the spirit that giveth life. In all substance is a single soul, subjective mind. Through all creation runs this one unbroken subjective mind. Through all creation runs this one unbroken subjective mind. Thought and feeling fused into beliefs impress modifications upon it. Charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. You can see this another way. You can see that each self-concept, let's say these are all different people enjoying their self-concept. Each one of these people has both a subconscious and a conscious. Each one of these self-concepts, which are, let's say in this example, people. And finally, this self-concept, there's 6 of us. I have my conscious and my subconscious. You have yours, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, all have a conscious and a subconscious. Well, we all are plugged into the same source. I am all that is, God. That is representative of all consciousness. Well, we all have a subconscious which is directly plugged in. Every single one of us are plugged into the same consciousness. Every one of us. If you go out here looking for some answers, not remembering, which is all we're doing is remembering here, not remembering that all your answers are already within you. They're here within you because within you is plugged directly into the source. All that is, I am God. That's where all wisdom is. Plugged directly into you. Through all creation runs the one unbroken subjective mind. Subjective mind runs through all of us. Unbroken. Thought and feeling fused into beliefs impress modifications upon it. Charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. Let me repeat that sentence. Thought and feeling fused into beliefs. Impress modifications upon it. Charge it with a mission, which mission it faithfully executes. The conscious mind originates premises. The subjective mind unfolds them to their logical ends. Were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man would not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Were the subjective mind not so limited in its initiative power of reasoning, objective man could not be held responsible for his actions in the world. Man transmits ideas to the subconscious through his feeling. Man transmits ideas to the subconscious through feeling. The subconscious transmits ideas from mind to mind through telepathy. I am that. Okay, so the bridge of incidence occurs, and it seems like everybody around you is supporting you that. That's where the telepathy happens once you impress the subconscious. This subconscious is everywhere. It's everywhere. Once you impress the subconscious, it goes into all consciousness, and all consciousness is instantly. It just is instantly. The subconscious transmits ideas from mind to mind through telepathy. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. This is why it is so very, very, very important to apply the golden rule at all times. Only think or do unto others that which you would want to have done unto you. Period. And I threw the think in there because it's very important. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. If you're putting into the impression into your subconscious that this person over here is in some way negative. I don't even want to give voice to this kind of thing, but you know you might have done this before. If you put a negative attitude into your subconscious about another, they are going to receive that message subconsciously. Not only they are going to receive that because you sent it on your telegraph, everyone else receives that you sent that telegraph as well. Everyone else is getting the same message that you sent. Your unexpressed convictions of others are transmitted to them without their conscious knowledge or consent, and if subconsciously accepted by them, will influence their behavior. They don't have to accept it, and you know where it goes if they don't accept it, right back to you. Hence the golden rule. The only ideas they subconsciously reject are your ideas of them which they could not wish to be true of anyone. If they think it's possible, if you send a negative impression to your subconscious about this person, and they consciously do not believe that that's possible of anyone, they will not accept it about themselves. Subconsciously. They will not accept it. But in fact, if they do have the same criticism of others or themselves, they will accept that negative criticism you sent their way because they believe it's true of others or can be true. Let me repeat the sentence. Very powerful information right here. The only ideas they subconsciously reject are your ideas of them which they could not wish to be true of anyone. Hence the saying, I wouldn't wish that upon my enemy or my worst enemy. Whatever they could wish for others can be whatever they could wish for others can be believed by them, and by the law of belief which governs subjective reasoning, they are compelled to subjectively accept and therefore objectively express accordingly. Whatever they could wish for others can be believed of them. Whatever they believe of others can be believed of them. And by the law of belief which governs subjective reasoning is in here, okay? They are compelled to subjectively accept and therefore objectively express. If they can believe it, then they can express it. Then they impress themselves because they can believe it. Then that becomes a subconscious impression. Then they can believe it, and then therefore becomes an expression, becomes an objective. If this is their future self, they can believe it here, then they objectify it into another reality, another of their realities of experience. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. The subjective mind is completely controlled by suggestion. Ideas are best suggested when the objective mind is partly subjective. That is, when the objective senses are diminished or held in abeyance, right when you're falling asleep, SATS. State akin to sleep. This partly subjective state can be best described as controlled reverie, wherein the mind is passive but capable of functioning with absorption. It is a concentration of attention. There must be no conflict in your mind when you are praying. Turn from what is to what ought to be. Assume the mood of fulfilled desire, and by the universal law of reversibility, you will realize your desire. Whoa! What a very profound chapter of dual nature of consciousness. Goodness gracious. Prayer, the art of believing. He's really getting right in there with it. There's some fascinating pieces that unfold. I mean, that he has unfolded, especially the subconscious and all that is basically being of the same. Subconscious and consciousness is one, but the consciousness here is greater than that. That blew my mind. That's one of my favorite pieces here because it's very much, I'm sorry, it was the conscious and subconscious, but the subconscious is greater. I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I. My conscious and subconscious are one, but my subconscious is greater than my conscious. The fact that they're all plugged in and instantly communicating is what I got from that. That was my absolute favorite piece, because that communication that you're making, that impression you're making onto your subconscious is instantly in the network, if you will. But if it's a negative that you send out about another and they don't believe it's possible of anybody, it's not going to be received and it's going to come right back to you. So you must watch that, because your self-concept is both what you think of yourself and what you think of others. And if they accept those or don't accept them, you're still having to deal with what you put out. Back to the golden rule. Wonderful chapter. That was prayer, chapter 2, dual nature of consciousness. We'll see you in the next video.